Florence police investigators have worked closely with the Dawes family during the investigation of the assault that occurred June the 5th at Wilson Park. There have been several meetings that we have had with the Dawes family, and the Dawes have been kept well informed during the course of this entire investigation. During the course of the investigation, the Dawes family has identified Isaiah Thornton, a 28-year-old black male, as the primary aggressor during the assault. After extensive discussions with the district attorney's office, it was determined that the appropriate criminal charge was assault third and criminal mischief in the third degree. Both of these are misdemeanors. Therefore, our investigator coordinated a meeting between Kevin Dawes and Florence Municipal Court. During this meeting with Kevin Dawes and a magistrate, it was determined that probable cause for an arrest existed. Therefore, a warrant was issued for Isaiah Thornton, and he was subsequently arrested and charged with the crime of assault third and criminal mischief third. This is still an active investigation, and the police department would ask that anybody that has additional information about this incident to contact the Florence Police Department. I want to add this. There has been much discussion about this case on social media, requesting that the police department make this a charge of a felony hate crime. And I want to be clear, in the state of Alabama, there is no standalone charge of a hate crime. The hate crime in the state of Alabama, the hate crime provision in the state of Alabama, is Title 13A-5-13, is a sentencing enhancement. What this means is upon a guilty verdict during sentencing, the judge would take into account the witness statements, the victim statements, and he would determine whether or not that reasonable doubt. Let me go back and say that again. Sorry. The judge will determine at sentencing if it's shown beyond a reasonable doubt that the crime was motivated by the victim's actual or perceived race. This is a decision to be made at the time of sentencing after a guilty verdict by the judge when he considers all the facts provided by the prosecutor. Deciding whether or not this is a hate crime is not the role of the police department or of our investigator. This is a sentencing enhancement. So I want to be clear that the only hate crime provision applies at sentencing. I have listed for you both the details of the crime of assault third and also the applicable provision of criminal mischief in the third degree. I also want to say this. It is our practice for ages at the Florence Police Department, and it is across the board throughout the state. Anytime a misdemeanor offense occurs outside the presence of the police department, the prosecution of the offender falls directly to the victim. The police department cannot prosecute somebody for a misdemeanor offense. The victim must do that. We walked the Dawes family through this process, coordinated the meeting between the Dawes family and the magistrate's office, ensured that he knew exactly what needed to be done. That meeting between Kevin Dawes and the magistrate resulted in the arrest warrant for Isaiah Thornton. If a misdemeanor offense occurs outside of police presence, then the victim is required, and that's not just Florence, that's not just us. This is the practice for decades, and it's across the board in the state of Alabama. The victim is required to go and pursue those charges in municipal court. If a misdemeanor offense occurs in the presence of a police officer, we can make an arrest. If it's outside the presence of a police officer, then it is up to the victim to go and pursue those charges themselves.
Any part of this investigation ever turned up anything about gangs?
I cannot recall the last time somebody in the city of Florence stated that they were the victim of a crime that involved any gang. There has been some talk that this may have been gang related. That has not been confirmed. We don't have information. There's speculation about it, but there's been nothing confirmed. And again, people have said you have a gang problem here. This is the first crime in maybe 8 years or more that anyone has even claimed was gang related. That is not a common allegation here in the city of Florence. We don't see a lot of gang activity. We don't see all of the symptoms that are associated with gang activity. That's what you would find in larger cities such as Memphis. You'll see that in Birmingham. There's no indication that there's a gang problem here. There has been speculation that this may have been gang related, but that's speculation at best.